What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Kang Bros TV. Liverpool 5, Watford 0. Mo Salah 1, 2, 3, and 4. Mo Salah, running down the wing. Bro, we're gonna start with Mo Salah because we always leave this guy to the end. We say, oh yeah, every week, he's consistent, he does this. But scoring 4 goals in one game is no joke. Only certain amount of people, players have done that. And that's including for Liverpool as well, like Luis Suarez and stuff like that. So, let's start with this guy. I mean, what a performance and some amazing goals. And it wasn't just the goals, his all-round performance. Now, I know it's Watford. Am I just going over the top, overexcited because it's Watford? Or should we take into consideration that it was a poor Watford team or what?
No, it was. I think the way that Liverpool dispatched them makes them look a poor Watford team. But again, you know, I'm always a big one of saying that early goal does settle Liverpool down, and it does. But you got to be very careful when you say stuff like this. But if the first goal, when he put Matey on his arse and he that slot finish, if Messi does that, everyone's like, Messi's just too much. So it's a very Messi-esque thing to do. I'm not saying he's Messi, and people can always get twisted, and I'm not saying that, but he didn't against Spurs when he shifted the ball, and it was something that only a handful of players can do, and Messi would be one that comes to mind. He has things the traits that are very, you know, that are Messi-esque, and it was so refreshing to see the way he just puts people to sleep. And it's like, I was talking to a friend of mine who's in the game, and I said to him, I was like, Mo Salah would be my worst nightmare, because yeah, he's got pace and he can run you. But it's the desire. He knows he can run you, so he could actually come short, get the ball, and then run you. But the fact that he's always on your shoulder and he wants to go that way, as a defender, it's your worst nightmare, because you're always thinking, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he?
And the fact that he can go both ways. That first goal, I think all defenders think, oh, we know what he likes to do. He likes to shift onto his left and pop into the corner. Yeah. But he fooled the guy. It's like you said, the low sense of gravity as well. It's the way he can shift from to left to right.
So I think you've got to appreciate the guy's in a good moment, in a good space, and it's just really good to see that he's a Liverpool player.
But you know what, as I think you touched on there, you know when Liverpool get that early goal, it makes a whole difference.
Yeah, it settles everybody down.
That's it. We know as Liverpool fans, you know what, this team, if they want to win now, they're going to have to do something. Yeah. Because the only biggest worry, like, the thing what I've realised since we've done this channel is we've opened our gates to so many other Liverpool fans. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that you read on Twitter is fucking stupid. Somebody said to me about how I don't get excited about these small teams when we beat these small teams. And Twitter was popping off. It was like, what are you fucking talking about? Because it's only Watford. He was saying, oh, Hendo's still shit. This kind of stuff. When Liverpool win, get behind your team. Praise the players. Like, Watford are teams typical that Liverpool struggle to. If you know anything about Liverpool and how we perform, these are the teams that we struggle against. Like West Broms, the Burnleys, the Swanseas this season. It's happened. So when we do annihilate teams like this, back the team. Yeah. Praise the players. And for me now, after Mo Salah's performance, is he now player of the year for you? I know it's a bit early just to call just yet. But for me, I'll be very, very shocked and surprised if Mo Salah is not given Player of the Year. From his first season, what he's done, not just goal scoring ability, his assist as well, what he does. Like there was a time when he tried to set up Ings, wasn't it? I think it was his final goal, his fourth goal. It was a brilliant first time ball, and the ball just still fell to him, and he scored.
I think, do you know the whole Player of the Year shout? I think the reason it's such a nice story is because obviously how things went with Chelsea and how he's come back and how he's done it. So which is fair, and you wouldn't be if he got it, you wouldn't be too disappointed. You wouldn't be like, oh, that's unheard of. But if you're De Bruyne, for example, Man City have won the league with X amount of points, you'd probably be looking at it thinking, that's harsh. I mean, I have been levels this season. So I don't know. It's like, I think it's easy to say because he scored so many goals and he has got the assists. That's great. But Man City have gone on to win the league, and De Bruyne has been instrumental in that. So I don't know. And Harry Kane, to be fair, like, you know, 4 seasons in a row to score as many goals as he has. So I think it'll probably, you know, you can understand Salah because the story is nice, you know, after the Chelsea thing. But I'd say for me, KDB's been up there.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I get what you're saying completely, but I think yes, Man City won the league. But if you look at it on just player of the year, for me, I'll be very shocked if Salah didn't get it. For, like I said, not just for the goals, for the assists, the way he's played from, and it is his first season. For someone to come and do this in his first season is crazy for me. So
do you know what? Sadio Mane. Now he's a guy that I always if I don't think that he's been at it, or if we think that there's something that has not been great, we'd be the first ones to point it out. But this game, I think you have to give him props, because although there were still elements of decision making which was off, and there was still sometimes you look at it and think, oh, come on, man. But his willingness to keep going, his endeavour, that desire to keep being involved. If I make a mistake, to keep getting it. He was involved in 3 or 4 goals. So you've got to give him credit for that tenacity. He did it against Manchester United. Didn't have a great game that game, nor did anybody by any stretch of imagination. But the goal came from his endeavour and that willingness to keep getting the ball and keep trying different things, and that cross that led to the goal. Same thing against Watford. He just kept working and working and working. He was involved in goals, and the performance, again, the decision making is still frustrating, but he's just keeps going, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? In the sense that, for me as well, I watched Mane carefully, and I was thinking he's still struggling to get into this game how much he wants to be, like to be influential, to do certain things. But it's like you said, that it shows his character. The guy, his level of desire doesn't drop. Some players, it's not going their way. They fucking start throwing their hands around. The desire is constantly there, and obviously his speed and his urgency, everything is still always there, and it was always a threat. So hats off to Mane for that. And I'm not gonna dig him out for some of his decision making, but like you said, his desire to keep going, his hunger is unbelievable. Now, where do you think the game was won, lost today? I know we got an early goal, which helped us massively, but against Man United, there was loads of things that were wrong. It wasn't just one thing. So for you, where do you think the game was won, lost this week?
I think in this particular performance, it's funnily. We keep going back to it, and it's something that we've always talked about, and I always bang on about it. But the early goal really settled us, and that was the difference. As soon as we got that goal, I don't know about you, but I thought, right, we're going to get a few goals today. That's all I felt, and I can almost sit back in my seat and be like, right, I can enjoy this a little bit more now because we've got that early goal. So the early goal is where the game was won, and I think for Watford, it was almost a bit like Carvajal gave the real recipe in having had to beat Liverpool, and so did Mourinho, which was to stay compact, to make it just flood those main areas.
They tried to play 3 at the back.
Yeah, and they kept trying to have a go, didn't they? And you listen. I don't mind that if a team, but I think sometimes you've just got to get in your box, haven't you? You realise that if we go to Anfield and try and have a go and just and slug it out with them, we're probably going to lose the game. So I think sometimes the game was won and lost there. I think tactically they were a bit too open and a bit too brave. But Liverpool got the early goal, settled us, and then it was just a case of picking them off.
For me, yes, the early goal made a difference, but I think this is a game for all the Henderson haters, right? The guy, the tempo that he brings to the team. I don't care what anyone's opinion is on Henderson. They might think he's shit. He might to go sideways, but the tempo, he has a. If Liverpool don't have him, like against Manchester United, we had the midfield, but there was no tempo. There was very flat. If you looked at Henderson's performance today, he was literally spraying the passes. It was direct. The agency was there. It was starting from Henderson. Do you agree or not? Or do you think there was only and Henderson? It was like twice. I think he was caught napping on the ball. I realised that in the first half, and he himself, we had a bad 10 minutes phase through the game. But for me, Henderson made a huge difference, and I don't know if it was just me who realised that, but I think with Henderson in the team, there's always a certain tempo to the game.
I don't know. I can see your point.
Yeah,
I can see your point about the tempo.
Do you think we were flat against Man United?
I thought we were. I think we were flat against Manchester United, but also tactically they were a lot more aware. And I just go back to the point that Watford tried to have a go, and when you try and have a go, you've got to be fitter than Liverpool, and you've got to be technically better than Liverpool, which they weren't.
Yeah.
So I think it allowed Hendo to be a little bit more dominant in his performance. So I get your point, and it's a valid point, and he did add tempo to the game, but I just think that Watford allowed him to dictate because of the way that they played today. I think they were a bit too ballsy, but a bit too ballsy, and I think it come back to bite him in the backside. And I think their tactics allowed Hendo to dominate the game more than I'd say he would against another opposition who made it difficult.
So if you think Milner and they'll say the same midfield started like against Man United, do you think it would have been the exact same outcome possibly?
I don't see Liverpool Liverpool was so far off it in the first half, so far off it, that I don't think it would have made much of a difference. But I think it's a learning curve.
No. If they had the same midfield now against Watford,
yeah.
So if you had the Emirates in there, you had the Milner and Ox. do you think the midfield have been just as dominant? Do you reckon then?
I do, yeah, I do. But not taking anything away from Hendo, he did have a good game and he did play well. Like you said, there's a few lapses, but he did keep us ticking. But I just feel that Watford allowed him to do that, because I just thought it was, they were, I don't think they were going to be fit enough to keep up with Liverpool, and it showed.
Well, from everything we've seen everyone talk about Mo Salah, obviously, as you would, but the one person that no one really mentioned, which really got to me, was VVD. I thought he had an absolute brilliant performance. Now, you're probably going to say Watford probably didn't have much of a threat, which they didn't. I mean, Dini was very, very, by himself, wasn't he?
Isolated,
and he had no support. And I don't think they sort of fell into Liverpool's hands in the defensive. But I still think, all the aerial battles, all the crosses that came in, any free kick or any danger they had, VVD sort of dealt with. And like I said before in some of our videos, it's almost now when a cross comes in, we expect it to be dealt with. We didn't have that before. Before VVD came, we didn't have that. We were always shitting ourselves when a cross come in. Oh, we always conceded.
He played well. He played well, and he did good, and he was impressive.
Yeah.
Watford made life a little bit easier for him. Granted, but the one thing I do like is they're being brave on set pieces, defending nice and high line, gives the keeper a lot of space to come into, and as the free kick taker, I've been in the situations before when you're standing there and the line's high, the margin for error is really small. You think to yourself, this cross has to be on the money because they've got a high line. If I float it, keeper's got all that space to come and run into. If I undercook it, it's not going anywhere because they're so high. So it puts a lot of pressure on the free kick taker, and that I think it does come from VVD because he does marshal that, and again dictating and you could see him always pointing, telling people where to be, makes other people around him look better. So it was a very, very dominant performance and controlled, and he is adding that leadership at the back, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, I think that was the fact that he was the leadership thing and how he's shouting and controlling the back is a key thing for us, and I think it's just going to grow his confidence going forward, right?
And that was the whole point, I think, of getting him in January, was to allow him to bed in and settle in and get to know. So obviously, get him a pre-season under his belt. With what he has now, you'd like to think next season he can maybe kick on to next level, But who knows? You can never predict the future.
This next point is for one of our subscribers, Michael. Michael, you always dig out Robbo, right? You always dig him out on his attacking crosses. Now, you need to give this guy praise when he gave that cross. That was delicious. Absolutely precise, like bang on Mo Salah's foot. Now, fair play to Michael. He said that defensively he is very good, which he is. He's proven it. His speed helps him out a lot as well. He's very tough, mentality-wise as well, very strong. But he's always been getting digged out on his attacking ability and his crosses. I think he's going to get there. He's proven that he will get there. I'm not sure if Michael believes he'll get there, but that cross for Mo Salah's assist was amazing. What do you think of his performance?
I think good. It was a good performance. He done well. I think the one thing I will, again, be in the voice of reason, I would say, is that I agree with Michael's point in the sense that the quality needs to be more consistent. I think his crossing ability is there, but it needs to be more consistent. I thought today having Gomez playing was actually I was quite pleased because he's a lot more direct, isn't he? When he goes forward, he's direct crosses. I think that is an area of the game we do need to emphasise and improve on a bit more, the quality of delivery. But once you do get that ball in the box, it causes absolute havoc. I mean, Robbo's delivery for that goal was very, very good, but I'd love to see a bit more consistency in that. But again, it will come, and it is showing that he's made steps. He has started to get assists, and he was celebrating that goal as much as anybody else because he knows. I think he knows that I need to be doing this more consistently. So it's good to see. And yeah, can't take anything away from him. I was happy with that.
But Michael, I want to see in the comment section. I want to see some praise for this guy Robbo. Yeah, we need to back our players when they perform and they do deliver. I mean, we get your point, and we know. And he, like you said there, he knows that the consistency needs to be there. Yeah. But give the guy praise for when it's due.
And the other thing I just want to finish, another player that I just want to make a special notice to is another clean sheet for goalkeeper. Well done, boy.
Yeah, he didn't have much to do, but
that's the hardest bit, isn't it?
So who'd you give man of the match to?
I don't think you can. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer there. Yeah. I mean, the guy, if he scores 4 goals and you win 5-0, and I think he set up the other goal that he didn't score, which what a finish that was. Yeah. But no doubt, Mo Salah was just a joy to watch. When you're watching a performance like that, you worry because you think Madrid are having a stinker this year, a stinker, and you think to yourself, if you're Real Madrid, let's be honest, if Coutinho was paid 146, you'd be like, right, well, here's 170 because what he's done is just madness. But fingers crossed he doesn't. But he was.
And a quick shout out to Bobby as well. Anything Coutinho can do, man like Bobby can do as well. That little flick that he did was delicious. That little finish.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, and I'm glad he scores.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because a lot of people that don't watch Liverpool week in week out would probably say, you lot give him too much props, and I read an article or something about, we shared it the other day, when if he was being compared to as the new Alphonso Alves. Listen, people can have their opinion. That's what the beauty of football is, and that's where it's such a amazing thing. And this is why people things that what we do here gets airtime because people have opinions. But Bobby Firmino is like a breath of fresh air for Liverpool fans, and I'll be surprised. I'm pretty sure that there'll be many fans out there will be like, I'd take him in my team in a heartbeat. So, yeah, good as always. Agreed that Salah's man of the match, obviously.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer really. 4 goals. I mean, obviously we mentioned the good performances from a lot of the team as well, but like it's just easy, very very easy decision. You don't score 4 goals every week. Now, a lot of subscribers said that you didn't do a video on the Man City draw, or the Champions League draw, should I say. So we'll quickly just touch on it. What is your view on drawing Man City? And are you happy or are you disappointed?
I was very disappointed. Just gutted. I don't know. Listen, if we got Bayern Munich or Juventus or Madrid or Barca, they're not easy games, but by any stretch of the imagination. But I just would have loved... I just want to see us go up against those teams ahead of Man City. Man City, I think they are probably the best team in Europe. Them and Barca are arguably the best teams in Europe. But Man City frighten me at the moment. They're like a juggernaut that's just getting stronger and stronger. And we've beaten them once, but listen, that could have been 4-4. Let's be honest, that could have been 4-4 itself. I'm disappointed. If we'd got tucked in, if we'd got into this round and got Bayern Munich and got tucked in, I'd have been like, fine, whatever. But I would have been so much more excited. Whereas this now, I just feel it's going to be hard to watch as Liverpool fans. But I'm still going to back my team and still support the boys.
So do you think we'll win over too late for you?
No, I don't. And I think the other thing for me would have been, I would have liked to have had the second leg at Anfield, but we don't. So
yeah. Well, I think for me, like, Man City didn't want Liverpool. I don't care what
Liverpool don't want Man City either. So
no. I'm not denying that. We didn't want Man City, but I'm saying the same thing, is that Man City didn't want Liverpool. Let's be honest. Pep's not got a great record against Klopp. Yeah, as much as you might want to say that Man City is a great team, he doesn't have a great record. You could see it even when they showed the Champions League draw. The Man City representative, they were literally like, "Jeez, this is going to be tough," because they would probably want a different team. For me, the reason why I'm disappointed is similar to you. I just wanted us to see someone like the likes of Madrid and Barca. It's because through this Champions League campaign, we haven't really had that massive fixture. That Tottenham have had it. So I just really wanted to see us play someone big like that. But we'll play them in the final. Minor. Don't worry about it. So that was our take on the Champions League draw. I mean, let us know your thoughts on the game, on Mo Salah. Do you think he should be Player of the Year with ease? Or do you think, like my brother said, it could be someone like De Bruyne or Harry Kane? We've got a little international break, so we'll catch you for the next game. Peace.